name is Tina McDermott. I call myself the lazy inspirational chef. Lazy, you'll see why in a little bit. I'm a speaker and I'm a weight loss coach for 20 plus years. I cannot tell you how much this is my love, this is my passion, and there's no place that I'd rather be than right here, right now, teaching you how you can find joy in the kitchen, even if you don't like to cook or know how to cook, so that you can live a life that's healthy, that's full of vibrancy, and that is full of joy and free from dis-ease, free from diets, because we don't want to diet. Put it in the chat, capital D, capital I, capital E with a small t. Somebody put that in the chat, capital D, capital I, capital E with a small t. Who wants to diet? We want to live it. So if you want to live it, put live it in the chat. Put live it in the chat. If you're just sick and tired of all those DIEs and we just want to live it, and that is what I am all about. That was a long introduction. I only have one person who wants to live it. Oh my gosh, with all you people out there. Thank you so much for everybody for typing in the chat box. I really appreciate it. I don't get to see your gorgeous faces like I normally do. And that is how I know that you're out there and you're giving me the love. And I really love you and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Good. We got so much. I love, you do love food. So it looks like you all are pretty brand new to me. This is super duper exciting. Super exciting. Let me tell you what we're going to make today. And I've got some surprises for you as well. We're going to make crispy salmon and roasted salmon. I had another surprise. I'm going to make some Swiss chard for you first, okay? And then we're going to cook the salmon. Why? I'll explain that in a little bit. Then we're going to have some fun with some zoodling. We're going to zoodle. I make a nice zoodle salad. And then we're going to, who can live without chocolate? I cannot live without chocolate. We are going to make this outrageously delicious chocolate pudding that is healthy, that you should have every day, in my opinion, every single day. So if you love chocolate, put chocolate in the chat. If you love chocolate, put chocolate in that chat box. Good. Let me see. If you love chocolate, put the chocolate in that chat box. All right. Now, why am I doing a little extra something today? I am doing a little something extra because I subscribe to this Misfits Market. That's what it's called. And I got this huge box yesterday because I order more than I think. There's only 2 people who live here, but I think that I need to order for a whole 10-person family. And I got these beautiful heads of Swiss chard. Now, yes, they're beautiful heads. However, they need to be eaten right away. And I'm like, you know what? I am going to show my cooking class today how to make some sauteed Swiss chard. If you've ever had Swiss chard before, put a 7 in the chat. If you are not new to Swiss chard and you like Swiss chard and you've eaten it before, put a 7 in the chat. If you are new to Swiss chard, I want you to put a 20 in the chat. Yeah, I'm giving you different numbers because I want you to stay on your toes with me today. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm just drying it. I didn't put these in my salad spinner and I'm just drying them up just a smidgen. Okay, so we got some 7s here. I'm going to open up my chat box a little because I want a lot of interaction today. Good. So we've got some people who are brand new to Swiss chard and some people who have had Swiss chard, and I hope that you like the Swiss chard. Okay, now, yeah, I was just drying it up a little bit with a paper towel. It's that easy. I washed it up in my sink earlier, and it was still sopping wet, so I needed to clean that up. I'm going to start with an onion. Why? Because onions and Swiss chard belong together. Onions and Swiss chard belong together. Now, who here cries when they cut up an onion? If you cry when you cut up an onion, put cry in the chat. I'm not going to show this to you unless somebody really wants to know how to cut up an onion without crying. I'm not going to promise you, but if you want to know how to cut up an onion without crying, type cry in the chat. If you don't, I'm just going to go to town and, okay, we got a couple of you. Okay, let's get a close-up, Caitlin. And I'm going to show you my onion. This is a sweet white onion. And you see these pieces of kind of hair. Think hair on the top. That's the piece, the bulb that you want to eliminate. And they say that is what makes you cry. So I'm going to insert my paring knife at a diagonal and turn it in a circle and eliminate that bulb, because they say, again, that bulb is what makes you cry, baby, cry, cry, baby, cry. Okay, so now I'm going to get rid of the outer layers of my onion. Look, guys, you can use whatever onion you want. You don't have to use a sweet white onion. I just so happen to have gotten about 8 sweet white onions from Misfits Market, and I need to use them. And I really like the sweet onions. I really like the sweet onions. And gosh, the other thing, since most of you are new to me, any questions you have about nutrition, go ahead and put them in the chat. If I can fit it in with this, I will talk to you about it. Now, knife skills. I want you to hold a knife. Many people hold it like this. You will slip out. Do not do that. Hold your knife. 3 fingers on the handle, 1 finger on one side, thumb on the other. Middle finger is butted up against the back of the blade. This is how you hold the knife. Round things go flat. Round things flat. So I'm going to flatten them out. Okay? Flatten out your onion. And now I'm going to score my onion, not chop it all the way through. And I'm going to use the entire knife from tip to the entire blade. I'm just scoring it, and you see I didn't cut it all the way through, so it stays intact so that it doesn't slip while I'm chopping. So now grip your fingers, because I love my fingers and I want to keep them for the rest of the, hopefully another 50 years. I'm 53. I'm hoping to live over 100. Do you believe that? All right. At what age do you want to live till? I want to live to 150, but anyhow. So now I'm going to grip my fingers, and I'm going to use my entire blade, and I'm going to chop my onion all the way through. Now, this last piece that didn't get scored, don't try chopping through that way. It'll slip and it will hurt you. So you don't have to be perfect. And there you go. Also, when it comes to knife skills, I think it's in the dishwasher. With the knife skills, a lot of people pick up their vegetables with the blade. Don't do that. Don't do that, because a dull knife is a very dangerous knife. If you haven't gotten your knives sharpened, get your knives sharpened on a regular basis, at least once or twice a year, depending on how much you cook. I'm going to see my dad at the end of the month, and he's a barber, so he loves sharpening blades, So I'm going to get him to sharpen my blades and all of my knives and such. So get a sharp blade, okay? All right, did you learn something from that? I hope you did. And if you still cry when you cut an onion, I'm so sorry. I have context. I've never cried when I cut an onion. I don't know why. I think it's because of the context. Now, a piece of Italian wisdom when it comes to cooking is get peperoncino, hot peppers or cayenne pepper, and put that in the oil. Okay, you want to put that in the oil because it pops the flavor. I am not going to do that now, because every single time I do, it makes me cough, and I'd rather be talking to you rather than coughing. So in with the oil and the onions, I put about a half a teaspoon of a little bit of sea salt. You can always add it, but you can't take it away. So don't do too much, right? Now, who knows why sea salt is more important for you? Who knows why sea salt is more important for you than the sodium chloride table salt that most people use? Who knows why? Anybody? Anybody want to know why? If you want to know why, put sea salt in the chat. If you want to know why, put sea salt in the chat. If you don't want to know why, that's okay. I don't have to talk about it. I don't have to talk about it. Okay, good, good. All right. Make sure you're all paying attention, right? I'll make sure you're paying attention. Now, sea salt is really important because it's full of vitamins and minerals that are important to life. Also, our soils are depleted of these vitamins and minerals. So hence our bodies are depleted of these vitamins and minerals. So eat your sea salt, and it does not, look, I'm not going to tell you what your doctor, if your doctor tells you to avoid salt, avoid salt. Listen to your doctor. But I am also telling you that if you don't have any high blood pressure problems or whatnot, use sea salt because it has all the minerals that your body needs. What I'm doing here is I'm cutting out the stems of my Swiss chard, because that's what you want to do. With kale, I can strip this one too. Look at that. This one is allowing me to strip it. Yeah, these needed to get eaten today, so I needed to make sure that they got cooked. So, oops. And here, what I'm doing is I'm putting all the leaves in a pile, and then I'm going to chop them. So just so you see what I'm doing, but oh, I don't like that piece. Misfits Market. Has anyone used Misfits? I'm not here advertising for them in the least. I just started using them a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of months ago, I should say. And sometimes everything has been awesome, but this needed to get cooked right away. I didn't have that before. Anyhow, Swiss chard is a powerhouse of nutrition for you. It is full of vitamins and minerals, and anytime you get a vegetable or a fruit that has red in it, it has a very powerful antioxidant, like grapes and wine. They're called, they're free radical scavengers. They're called proanthocyanidins. Yeah, say that 5 times fast. I don't know if that's gonna fly, but proanthocyanidins. And those are free radical killers, and we need to scavenge and get rid of as many free radicals that might be in our bodies as possible so that we can have very strong immune systems. Now, this is from the kale that I had eaten earlier. You know what? The kale stems I'm going to use for my smoothie tomorrow morning. Don't ever throw away kale stems. Who here loves kale? Put kale in the chat if you love kale. If you love kale, put kale in the chat. If you love kale, put kale in the chat. Kale has, don't quote me on this number, but like 100 times more nutrition than spinach will ever have. So have some kale in your life. Have some kale in your life. Okay, so I'm going to trim off the ends that are a little on the brown side. There we go. I'm going to get rid of all of those. And now I'm going to throw these in with my onions and olive oil that I put in there. Note how I'm holding the knife. Note how I'm holding the knife and how I'm holding my fingers, okay? And my blade needs sharpening. My blade needs sharpening. Cannot wait to go see my dad. Okay.
And Tina, while you're doing that, we had some additional questions on salt. What do you think about kosher salt versus sea salt?
You know, I don't know. Caitlin, look that up. How many minerals are in kosher salt? How many minerals are in kosher salt? I know that sea salt has about 78 minerals in it, okay? Kosher salt, I'm not sure how many minerals it has in it. I just stick with my pink Himalayan sea salt. I love it. There's also Maldon salt. There's a Murray River salt. There's lots of other sea salts out there that you can eat, that you can have. Just make sure it's sea salt. I personally use a lot of Celtic sea salt in my water. So you see how I just put the stems right in with the onions? We're putting them right in with the onions there. And we're going to let that saute for a few moments. And let me clean off my hands. And while that's sauteing, I'm going to cut up the greens of the Swiss chard. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. Some of them are not good. Okay. Here we go. Now, you see how I layered everything on top of each other? All right, fine. You have to multitask a little bit when you're cooking. All right. Turn that down a little bit. So lay everything on top of each other. And now I'm going to roll them up like a burrito. It's not going to be pretty. It's just going to be a little bit of a mess. Don't expect it to be pretty. And go ahead and chop it into smaller pieces. Get your fingers out of the way. Now, what I do with big leaves like this, I clean my sink out, disinfect it, and then fill it with cold water, and then immerse the leaves in there and let them soak for a little bit so the sand goes to the bottom of the sink. I'll pull the greens out into a strainer like so, empty the sink, and then do it again until I do not find any sand at the bottom of the sink, because there's no salad strainer that's big enough for these big leaves. And Okay, here we go. Talk about brain food. This is brain food. These are also, the green leafy vegetables have a lot of omega-3 fatty acids, which are optimal for brain health. And we eat, actually, the greens have an ALA fatty acid that when you eat it, your body converts it to a DHA fatty acid, which is an omega-3. Omega-3 fatty acids, your body cannot produce itself. You must eat them. So they're essential fatty acids. They're essential. You must eat them, okay? And sorry, I got distracted with the beeping of my oven behind me here. So omega-3 fatty acids are anti-inflammatory. You absolutely need to eat them. You can get them from green leafy vegetables like kale, like Swiss chard, like mustard greens, like collard greens. What is your favorite dark green leafy vegetable? What is your favorite dark green leafy vegetable? What is your favorite? Now,
Tina, are you cooking in cast iron? People are wondering.
Yeah, I'm cooking in a cast iron skillet. Yes, I love my cast iron skillet. Who here cooks with cast iron? Who here cooks with cast iron? Does anybody want to know who has it? Okay, here's a great question. Who has a cast iron skillet that is sitting in their garage or someplace full of rust and they don't want to use it and they want to be incentivized to use it? If you want to be incentivized, and I will teach you some tidbits on how to take care of a cast iron skillet and why you want to cook with it. If you want that, put cast iron in the chat. Put cast iron in the chat. And because my eyes are getting a little old, I can't see all the time, but let's see. All right, I got a couple. Oh, our favorite vegetables, our favorite green. Oh, escargot, I forgot about that. And the collard greens. Okay, cast iron. When you cook with acidic foods, like some vinegars, some tomatoes, lemon juice, it pulls up the iron and you end up having iron. And women specifically tend to not have enough iron. Men tend to have enough iron, okay? So I find it delicious as well to cook with a cast iron skillet. It browns food beautifully. It cooks the salmon better than any other roasting pan on the planet Earth that I have ever found. And it cooks evenly as well, as long as the flame is as big as the pot itself or the pan itself. So, and if you're still skeptical about it, here's what I dare you to do. Cook it, just fry an egg in it. Fry an egg in it in this pan and then fry an egg in one of those non-stick skillets. And I want you to taste the difference. I want you to taste the difference. It is so much better in a cast iron. So a lot of people don't want to use their cast iron skillets because then they're thinking, oh, I can't clean it. So if you have rust in your cast iron skillet, I want you to pour a whole bunch of oil and a whole bunch of salt. And I want you to get a scrubby. I know, I call them scrubbies. It's a steel wool. And scrub it through. Put a glove on. Scrub it through. Get rid of all of that rust. Get rid of all of it. And then don't wash it with soap though, okay? Just rinse it off. Put oil all over it and put it in the oven at about 450, I think it is, for about an hour. Don't quote me on that number. I think it's 450. And that will re-season the pan. Now, when I'm done cooking with this, I just take this to the stove once it's cooled off. I get my steel wool, which sits in my sink, brush all the tidbits out, and then I put it on my gas stove and I put the timer on for 3 minutes to dry it. Once it's dry, I apply just a smidgen of a little bit of oil and it sits on top of my stovetop. And that those are my secrets for a cast iron skillet. Now that my onions are nice and translucent and you see how bright oh my God, this is heavy. That's the other advantage of a cast iron skillet. Mussels. The Swiss chard stems are also bright. Now it's time to put the leaves in. So now we're going to put the leaves in, okay? All of these wonderful leaves go right in. And I'm going to put a lid on this as well. I'm going to put a lid on it, and I'm going to put a little bit of water. A little bit of water. Let me find some water here. I'm in my kitchen. You think I'd have water, huh? Here we go. Just a little bit, and I'm going to put a lid on. Because with the Swiss chard, if it was spinach, I wouldn't even need a lid, because spinach takes a couple of seconds to just wilt in there. But with the Swiss chard, I want to cook this. You see, I'll put like a tablespoon or two of water in there, and I want to cook it for about maybe 5 minutes. Caitlin, go ahead and give us a 5-minute timer, and then we're going to come back to the Swiss chard, and we're going to check it, and then we're going to cook our salmon in the same pan that we cooked the Swiss chard in, okay? All right. Now, what was I talking about? We were talking about, oh, DHA. Remember how I said that the Swiss chard and the green leafy vegetables have that ALA fatty acid that our body converts. So it has to work a little bit to convert it to a DHA fatty acid. Fish, salmon, is full of DHA fatty acid. It's not an ALA that our body has to work towards to convert, because the fish eat, yes, other fish, the little fish, but the little fish have eaten the algae and other greens in the ocean, and in their body have converted the ALA fatty acid from those greens into DHA. So when the bigger fish, the salmon, eat the little fish, and then their meat is full of DHA. So it does the work for us. So if you need a lot of DHA, a lot of omega-3 fatty acids, eat fatty fish, okay? Eat fatty fish. Now, if you've noticed, I took my salmon out of the refrigerator and it's been sitting on this plate. I like my meat to rest a little bit, whether it's fish or whatever, unless it's a real thin piece of fish. I like to let it rest. I also did have it on top of an ice pack. And I have it cut in 2 ways. Why? Because I am going to show you, this is my other surprise, I am going to show you how to make salmon, not just the crispy way in the pan, but I'm going to show you my favorite way of making salmon. My favorite way of making salmon. I'm going to show this to you because I was inspired by, again, my market gave me a whole thing of tomatoes that, I love these. They're like candy to me. You can just pop them in your mouth. But I also love them with my salmon, roasted with my salmon. So I'm going to get 1 piece of my salmon, and I'm going to put it on. Yes, this is stoneware. I love cooking with cast iron skillets and with stoneware and wooden spoons and wooden cutting boards. It makes me feel, this might sound corny, but I don't care. I'm corny anyway. Closer to the earth and closer to caveman days. I don't know. I love cooking with stone. Also, stoneware cooks very evenly, very, very, very evenly. So we're going to keep this. We're going to put this over there for now. But this is a way that I was taught. By the way, I put salt and pepper on my salmon already. This is the way I was taught to make salmon by my sister. And it sounds weird, but it is so incredibly delicious. You're going to get some mustard. I don't care what kind of mustard it is. You can do Dijon mustard, yellow mustard, whole grain mustard. I kind of like the fancier mustards, like the Dijon and the whole grains. My husband loves yellow mustard. He's just a plain, I was going to say plain Jane, but he's a man, so plain Jeff. He's a plain Jeff. And we're going to spread. Who here has ever made salmon with mustard? If you've made salmon with mustard, put a 1 in the chat. If you've made salmon with mustard, put a 1 in the chat. The mustard keeps the salmon super duper moist throughout, but then the bottom gets nice and crispy at the end. Bottom gets nice and crispy at the end. No chemical coatings like Teflon too. Yeah, that's right. That's back to the cast iron. So yeah, so who here, if you put a 1 in the chat, if you've ever made salmon with mustard. If you haven't, that's okay too. It's all right. So now I'm going to get my tomatoes and I'm just going to cut them in half and put my tomatoes all around my salmon. All around my salmon, on top of it, on the side of it. If you wanted to, you can get some garlic and put some garlic in here. Olives, I've roasted olives on the side. Oh my gosh, what a meal. Salmon and tomatoes and olives together, fabulous. And I'm just gonna roast this in my oven, 375 for about 15 minutes. And the tomatoes, if I don't cut them, will take a little longer to cook. So I like them cooked. So I cut them up just a little bit. And this is absolutely amazing. Anybody, no one's ever cooked salmon? That was a bad tomato. I could feel that. Anyone ever cook salmon with mustard, huh? No one has. What's your favorite way of cooking salmon? Salmon, brain food. It's brain food, specifically brain food. That was another not so good one. Okay. Here we go.
Your timer's going off as well.
Thank you, my dear. I will check that in just a moment. Let me finish this. And now I can do all my tomatoes, or I can just do part of them. It doesn't matter. However many tomatoes you want roasted, you're going to put with that. And yeah, I like it grilled as well. I like my salmon grilled, but let me tell you, when I cook it in the cast iron skillet, so good. So that's it. It already has, the mustard already has a lot of salt in it, so I'm not going to add salt, but I am going to add pepper. I am going to add a little bit of pepper to the top of it. And if you don't already have a pepper grinder, oh my gosh, I implore you to get one. The flavor profile of pepper, cracked fresh, is astounding compared to the already pre-cracked pepper that you get. It's like ancient old cracked pepper, fresh. So much better for you. So much better. All right. This is my Emerald Lagasse toaster oven that does a million different things. And I love it, especially if I just want to cook something small. I don't have to turn the whole oven on. I can just turn that little Emerald thing on. It says it does air frying and all that stuff, but I just toast and bake in it, and that's it. Toast and bake. Okay, let's take a look at how our Swiss chard is coming out. Whoops, hot, 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 hot. It's done. It's done. I'll see if I can move it over here and, ouchies, and do a little close-up here. Okay, can you see that? This is how you know it's done, because the leaves have wilted and it's bright. You don't want to cook this to death. You don't want to cook this for 10, 20 minutes. But that 5 minutes with that little bit of water was all that we needed. That's all that we needed. So we're just going to plate this, get it out of this pan, because we're going to use this pan. We're going to use this pan to cook the salmon next, okay? The other piece of salmon. Okay. Oof. I'm telling you, you need muscles in the kitchen. But don't make cooking your only source of exercise. Definitely get outside and do lots of different forms of exercise. Oh, this is so creamy. This is so delicious and full of life, full of minerals, full of fiber, vitamins, antioxidants. This is brain food right here, especially when I put that piece of salmon on top of it. Ugh, ugh, ugh. I cannot wait. Okay, now salmon. Let's do our salmon. I've got my grill on, my cast iron skillet. Just gonna put a little bit more, I've got it on medium high, a little bit more olive oil in there. Give it a couple of seconds. And I'm going to put, sorry, my close-up camera just died, but that's okay, we'll live. I'm gonna put my salmon in, don't think I'm crazy here, but skin side up. We're gonna start skin side up, and then we're gonna flip it after about 5 minutes. So Caitlin, you ready? 5-minute timer. There we go. Now this plate had, Caitlin, are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay, good. For some reason I didn't see you and something buzzed out, so I want to make sure. This plate, thank you. This plate had raw meat on it, so I'm not going to use this again. These had raw meat. I'm not going to touch them again. They're going to go right in the sink and then right in the dishwasher afterwards, okay? So we're not going to reuse that. And same thing to you. If you touch raw meat, go wash your hands. Let that cook for a few minutes. Caitlin's got our timer going, and we are going to start talking about Zoodles. Who here loves Zoodles? Put Zoodles in the chat if you love Zoodles. If you love Zoodles, let me see some Zoodles in that chat box here. I got one person who loves Zoodles, and yay to Zoodles. Good. Zoodles, Zoodles, Zoodles. Love Zoodles, love Zoodles. So in the beginning of my Zoodling, did that sound right? In the beginning of my Zoodling, I would use this Zoodle OXO little gadget over here. And I'm going to use this for you. And we're going to do some carrots. We're going to do some zucchini. But then I'm going to introduce you to two other things that made my life so much easier. You eat them all the time. Oh, good. All summer long. Very good. I love Zoodles because everyone else can eat pasta, like the regular pasta made with with flour. I can't eat flour. And I don't care because when I do eat that kind of food, it makes me feel really bad. When I eat my Zoodles and I put my mom's sauce on it, or I can make a nice fun puttanesca sauce, or I can just eat them raw like I'm going to do today. We're going to eat them raw. So let's get Zoodling. Let's get Zoodling. We can Zoodle zucchini. We can Zoodle carrots. We can Zoodle beets, sweet potatoes. What's your favorite thing to Zoodle? Sweet potatoes, I call them poodles. You can spiralize apples, pears. What's your favorite thing to Zoodify? Now, with this, let me show you this one. I'm not telling you to get this one, not at all. I'm just telling you what I have. This is an OXO brand. I got this from, I think, Williams-Sonoma, and the one that I got before this, I brought back. I didn't like it, and then I like this one. Well, I'll wait until I show you the other way, okay? Now, this is going to have to suction cup to a countertop. It won't suction to a, what is this called? A cutting board. Sometimes I can't find the words in English. I don't know why. Okay, so now we're going to suction cup it so it doesn't move, right? Can everybody see me over here? Can everybody see me? Okay, type a 1 in the chat if you can see me over here. Okay, good. What is that? I can't say. Quickly saute in the pan. Oh yeah, you can quickly saute them as well. I've done them with olive oil and garlic. Oh my gosh, absolutely out of this world, amazing. So here we go. We're gonna put this in there like so, and you're gonna leverage behind it. One hand here, leveraging, and the other hand is going to spiralize. Here we go. Uh-oh. Fat carrots are best with these. Fat carrots are best. These are the fattest carrots I had. I should have gone to search for some fatter carrots. But hey, I want some carrots in my Zoodle salad today. Hey, you can eat them, the zucchini, you can eat it raw, like I'm gonna do today, or you can quickly put it up in the pan, put it in the pan and fry it up. Good, here we go. Am I getting some Zoodles over there? Am I getting some Zoodles? So this Zoodler, it's not that difficult. It's just one more thing to take out of your pantry. It's one more thing to set up on your counter. And remember how I started this off and I said, I'm a lazy chef and I'm a hungry girl and I want to get things done quickly. So also it's a little bit of a waste because you've got these pieces that are left over and you're not going to put them in your salad, or maybe you do. Maybe you do. But here we go. Oof. Here are our carrot pieces. Look how pretty they are. Oh my gosh. I love the color. Very pretty. Carrot pieces. And see, this stopped suctioning. I was supposed to put a little water underneath. I forgot. So we're going to wet it. We're going to wet it underneath, and that helps you suction it. See, all these little pieces that you have to do with this one. Okay, now it's stuck. It's not going anywhere. So we got our carrots, and let's get our zucchini. Our zucchini.
And your 5-minute timer as well.
Yay, time to flip our fish. Oh, does that rhyme? Flip our fish. We're gonna flip our fish. There we go. 5 more minutes, please. Look how pretty that looks. Look how pretty that looks. 5 more minutes, and then we are going to test it with my meat thermometer in a little bit. We'll test it with the meat thermometer. Okay, what do we have? We have our zucchini. I'm just gonna chop off the ends. throw those give them right back to the earth, compost them. And we're going to make some zoodles with my spiralizer. Here we go. All right, so here we go. We've got our zoodles. I got one long piece, but the rest of them are kind of on the small side, probably just the way I angled it. No big deal. And then there's the middle piece with all the seeds. Whoops, went right into my tea. Oh well, it's all good. We're gonna put the zoodles right in there, okay? I'm gonna show you two other ways that make your life super simple, that you don't have to get one of these expensive OXO things, and you can get something super cheap. This came from Pampered Chef. Please don't ask me what it's called because there's no name on it, and I bought it several years ago, but I do know that it's from Pampered Chef. And look, it doesn't cut my fingers. No more cut fingers, but watch what it does to my zucchini. Do you see those little pieces of zucchini? If you can't see them, let me do it over here and then I'll pick them up for you. That's it. That's what it does. It's not necessarily spiralized, but they're little noodles of some sort, right? They're little noodles. So you can get one of those, or who wants to see my favorite zoodle piece? Who wants to see my favorite zoodle piece? My favorite zoodler. Put zoodle in the chat if you want to see my favorite zoodler. You want to see my favorite zoodler? Put zoodle in the chat. You ready? Okay, no one wants to see it, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. Okay, this is my favorite zoodler, and it's called a veggetti. Yes, it's called a veggetti. It's $10. You can get this right from any supermarket. Not any supermarket, but a lot of supermarkets have it. And it's so stinking easy. It's the easiest spiralizer I've ever had in my whole life. Oh, you have this one. Good. Now, if you want thin, you're going to go on this side. If you want thicker ones, you go on that side. I like them thinner. So here you go. This is it. This is it. Told you, you get some muscles in the kitchen. Now, a trick with this one, if you just keep spiralizing, you'll get one long noodle, and you don't want long noodles. So just pull it out, break it, and then go back. I keep looking at the salmon to see how it's cooking over there, and I think it was really thick in the middle, so it might need an extra minute on this side, but we'll check it. Caitlin, you have a timer for me, right?
Yep, you had about a minute and a half left.
Yeah, we might have to do 2.5, but we'll check it. We'll check it. So you see how I just keep pulling it out? And, okay. Maybe don't put your finger in there because that hurt. Okay. All right. Look how easy this is. Now look, you can use your spiralizer over here, or you can get yourself a veggetti. So much easier. Let's do the other side, and let's take a look at how the thickness from the other side. See how this just comes out thicker. I don't know if you can actually see that or not. Okay. And remember, just pull it out and break them. Otherwise, you're going to have these long pieces that are going to be obnoxious to eat. So funny. I grew up Italian, eating pasta and such, and my husband loves pasta, but I don't eat it. I can't eat it. I feel terrible when I eat pasta because it's all gluten and stuff that does not make my belly happy. Let's put it that way. And we want a joyful gut. That's what my life is all about. As a matter of fact, I have a free gift for everybody. Caitlin will put that link in the chat. It's my Joyful Gut Reboot Guide. It tells you all about the fundamentals of how to have a joyful gut. And anyhow, we want a joyful gut. And I can eat pasta, but it's zoodle pasta. And it's so much healthier. And I feel so much better. Okay, now for our salad. You might want to make your dressing in a separate bowl, but remember, I'm lazy. I take shortcuts. I'm going to throw it all into the same bowl. I'm going to do a little bit of garlic. You can chop it up. You know, if you want to use garlic powder, you can, but it's not going to have the flavor profile that fresh garlic has. Now, who uses fresh garlic? Who uses jarred? And who uses powdered? Put it in the chat. Let me see. You use fresh, jarred.
A timer.
The 5 minute, right?
Yeah.
All right. It is, let me check it. If you don't have one of these instant read thermometers and you butcher your meat to find out if it's at the right temperature, to see if it looks good, stop doing that. Get one of these. It doesn't cost that much. Instant read thermometer. We want 145 pounds. We want 145 degrees for fish, and I'm at 130 degrees right now. This will cook a little bit more as it sits there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just lower the heat just a little bit. Caitlin's going to put a timer on for one more minute, and then we're going to check it. You know what, minute and a half, Caitlin. Sorry to interrupt you there, but okay. So garlic, if you do fresh garlic, if you do jarred garlic, okay, all of it. Some people do all of it. Here's the thing. I want you to know garlic is incredibly important for you to be eating on a normal basis. When it's raw, you will get all of the immune boosting properties of garlic, as well as antiviral, antibacterial, antimicrobial properties of garlic. When it has been pasteurized, jarred, pasteurized, very, very high heat, all of those properties are gone, and all you're getting is possibly the flavor. The flavor profile of raw garlic is astounding, back to like the black pepper, compared to the jarred garlic. Get yourself some garlic, fresh garlic, and use it, okay? Get yourself some fresh garlic and use it. Now, you can use a garlic press for this, or if you're like, oh, I'm not too sure about the garlic, cut it in half. Oops, sorry about that noise. And rub, all I'm doing is rubbing the inside of my bowl with the garlic. So at least you're getting a little bit of the garlic essence, and not the bite of garlic, okay? So you could do that, or just mince your garlic. Put it right in there. See, muscles in the kitchen. A little bit of garlic, there you go. Put that in there. What else do we want in here? What else do we want? We want garlic.
Timer as well.
What was that?
Your timer's going off as well.
Really? That was the minute and a half already. I put a little bit more garlic. All right, back to the salad in a minute. Let's check our salmon. And our salmon is got to be done. Yep. That did it. 145 degrees. Our salmon is complete. So I'm going to grab this salmon piece. Let me move this over here. Put that on top of my Swiss chard. There we go. Holy cowza wowza. Look how beautiful this kale is. I want to call it kale. This salmon is on top of this Swiss chard. Holy cow. This is brain food right here. You want to talk about being healthy and vibrant and free. There it is. This is a meal for kings and queens, and you are royalty. And if you don't think you are, I think you are. So you deserve this, okay? Eat that on a normal basis, 2, 3, 4 times a week. I have a friend of mine who's a pescatarian. I think she eats fish 5 times a week. 5 times a week she's eating fish. And where I eat everything. I just eat a lot of fish too because I love it. Okay, what else are we going to put in our salad here? We got some garlic. We're going to put some freshly cracked black pepper because the flavor. Did you know salt enhances the flavor? Pepper actually changes the flavor. Okay, now I am going to ask you at the end of our little program today what you found most valuable about our time together. So just start thinking about what are you finding most valuable about our time together. Oh, I already have a half a lemon. If you want more lemon, more juice out of a lemon, roll it. Okay. And if you don't already have a lemon squeezer thing, get one. I would say I'm not a huge gadget girl, but I've turned into a huge gadget girl because it saves you time and effort in the kitchen. I had this old lemon squeezy thing And I didn't realize how much work I was putting into it when this new one, which cost me $3.99 at Marshall's, was so much easier. It's so much easier. That's not enough lemon. So we're going to put a little bit more lemon in there, because lemon, you can put some vinegar in there if you want, but I prefer lemon on my zoodles. And remember, the world is your oyster. You know, if you don't like the recipes that I made for you or the flavors that I put in there, add your own. Do what you like. Eat what you like. You don't have to follow anybody else's protocol. Follow your own, but definitely eat some raw garlic because it's good for you, okay? All right, what else are we missing in here? We got garlic, we got, oh, the other thing you want to do is grate some lemon zest. If you want a pow of lemon flavor, grade up with, this is a microplane, some lemon zest, and that really pops the flavor of lemon. There's this lemon ricotta cake that I make. It was my late sister's favorite cake to make, so I make it all the time. And I put the zest of an entire lemon in there, and that pops the flavor of my lemon ricotta cake, as well as this wonderful salad. We're gonna put a little bit of olive oil. Where's my olive oil? Make sure you get some organic extra virgin olive oil. Put as much as you like or don't like. There we go. We got the lemon. We need a little bit of sea salt. Anyone see my sea salt? Here we go. We're going to put some sea salt in there. Now, you could always add it. You cannot take it away, right? You can always add it, but you can't take it away. Make sure I've got everything. Oh, and some parsley. I ran out to the store to make sure that I had parsley before this cooking class, because I used all of my parsley in my last couple of cooking classes today and yesterday. Parsley is so good for you. It detoxes your liver. It also changes the palate. It helps you digest your food. It is wonderful. When you are served a little bit of parsley at the end of a meal, I want you to eat it because it's very good for you. Also, a quote from my grandmom, I'll translate in a moment. Si lava cuando se usa, do not wash it. Wash it before you use it. Don't wash it ahead of time, okay? Don't wash it ahead of time. Okay, so add some parsley. My mom always has parsley in her garden, and always, even if we have a 2x4 little garden, she has parsley growing. And at the beach house, I think this is funny that, you know, our driveway is all rocks and the garden is right next to the driveway. And my dad is not allowed to use chemicals in the driveway because I have my dogs and such, and he has a dog and he's just not allowed. So I'm just gonna, you know what, I'm gonna move this and I'm gonna chop it like so. Don't worry, we're gonna get to that outrageously delicious chocolate pudding because it is so good and so easy. You're gonna wanna make this on a daily basis too, that chocolate pudding.
Tina, do you use Italian flat leaf parsley or curly leaf parsley?
Great question. And what I was gonna say is that my mom, there's parsley growing through the rocks in the driveway, okay? I think that's hysterical. Anyhow, so I am using flat leaf parsley today, and I am not opposed to the curly. I like the curly parsley. This one was just beautiful at the market. And look how pretty it is. Oh my gosh. And by the way, store your parsley in a jar with water. You can either sit it on the counter for a few days or in the refrigerator in that glass jar, okay? So there we have it. If you want to add to this a little bit of cheese, add a little bit of cheese to this. If you want to add some walnuts to this, I would add some walnuts because walnuts are also that ALA fatty acid, which is wonderful, which turns into DHA fatty acid, which is great for your brain. And today's all about brain health. That's why you want to eat the rainbow. You want to eat a lot of vegetables. And I would probably put another carrot in here to pop the flavor. Look how pretty that is. And there you have it, our Zoodle salad. How wonderful is that? Okay, so we have our fish, we have our Zoodle salad, and now we have to make some outrageously delicious chocolate pudding. You ready? You ready for some outrageously delicious chocolate pudding? And I'm going to remove my Zoodler and make room for our chocolate pudding. Okay, let me just move a couple of things.
We also have some great
Right.
ideas with walnut pesto and pine nuts as well.
I'm sorry, repeat the question, Caitlin.
Walnut pesto as well would be great in that, do you think? Or pine nuts?
Oh, you mean in the zoodle salad? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, and yes. Absolutely. Some pesto would be wonderful. I make my own pesto because most pestos I find on the market have canola oil or some soy oil or something like that. Make your own pesto. It is so wonderful. And you can make it with the walnuts. I make my pesto, get this, with kale and roasted garlic. Kale and roasted garlic. That's the way I love it. Kale and roasted garlic. Wonderful. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Yes, pesto would be wonderful with zoodles. Okay, let's do our outrageously delicious chocolate pudding. And let's get some things together here. I'm going to start off with some almond milk. If you don't have to do almond milk, you can do coconut milk. We're going to do 1 cup. There's a measuring thing right there. 1 cup of almond milk. You can even do water, but I don't know. I like the profile of the almond milk for this particular pudding. I'm going to put a teaspoon of vanilla. Don't chintz on your vanilla. Get some really good organic vanilla. This is the hard part, and it's also the easy part. Get bananas, freeze them, and get avocados and freeze them. I keep them in little baggies like this, in a bigger baggie, in the freezer, so that in 5 minutes or less, I can get my chocolate pudding done. I've got some ice cubes. They got a little melty, but that's okay. Put those in there. I've got some dates. Now these dates were a little on the hard side, so I poured some hot water in them. They've been sitting in hot water. And what I'm doing is taking the pit out. So you can do 2 dates, you can do 3 dates, you can do 4 dates. How many dates do you want? How sweet do you want it? Put it in there, okay? I'm gonna do, I have 4 dates in here. And so we're gonna do 4 dates.
And while you're doing that, why do you store your extracts in the fridge?
I always have stored my extracts in the fridge. I know where they are. It's a place where I've always kept all of my extracts. And you don't have to, but I always have. I don't know. My sister asks me the same thing, but that's where I like them. That's where I like them. Next, we're going to put, good question. We're going to put a pinch of sea salt because sea salt pops the flavor of chocolate. So just a little pinch of sea salt. And we're going to put some cocoa powder. Look, you can even put Hershey's cocoa powder in here, but I found this wonderful cocoa powder from Navida's, from My Organic Market, that I love. I'm just trying to remember how much I'm supposed to put in here because I always put too much. 2 tablespoons. So we're going to do 2 tablespoons, and I have a 1/4 cup measure in there, and that's 4 tablespoons. Because I like chocolate. I like chocolate, so I'm going to put it in there. Or no, that was 1/8 of a cup. Oh, that's 2 tablespoons. There we go. See, I use it all the time, so I keep my measuring cup right in that bag. So we've got our cocoa powder, we've got our salt, we've got our banana, we've got avocado, we've got almond milk, we've got vanilla, ice cubes. What am I missing? A little bit of salt, the dates. That's it. That is it. Now, here's another thing you can put in there. I like 85% or 90% chocolate. You could put a bar of chocolate in there as well, and you don't have to, okay? You don't have to. I'm going to use that to grade to put on the top. Okay, ready? Be right back.
And Tina, how much avocado did you put in there?
I put 1 avocado. There was 1 avocado that I froze. Oh, I wanted to show you a trick. I almost forgot. And everybody might know this trick, you might not. I was at the store the other day, and all I could find were hard avocados. And I put them in a brown bag with an apple and a banana to make them, to ripen it. And it's ripe. It's ripe. I'm just going to put it back in there so I have it in there. Because the ethylene gas from the banana and the apple help ripen that avocado, which is awesome. Yeah, so 1 avocado, 1 small avocado, that size that I just showed you. Okay, so here we have it. Now, my ice cubes were a little melted. So you're getting this a little bit more liquidy than I typically like. And then I'm going to get my microplaner, and I am going to get my bar of chocolate. And I am going to shave a little bit of chocolate right on the top. And then I'm going to eat this. You can freeze this, but I wouldn't. I would just put this right in the fridge and then eat it up. The hardest part is making sure you have frozen avocados and frozen bananas. I'm telling you, I just put them in a baggie and I have them available for me. So at this point, I would love, love, love to know, what did you find most valuable about our time together today? What is that one thing that you found that is just so, yes, I'm going to do that? Go ahead and type that in the chat. Let me just show you our creations of the day. Our brain healthy salmon and Swiss chard, our sauteed Swiss chard and onions. Our wonderful zoodle salad with lots of garlic and lemon and olive oil and salt and pepper. And our outrageously delicious, really quick chocolate pudding. Yeah, so what did you find most valuable about our time together today? Let's see what we have here. I moved you to try Swiss chard. Good. The salmon with mustard. Oh, I forgot to take it out of the oven. Let me show it to you. Let me show it to you. Here it is. Roasted salmon with mustard. I almost forgot to take this out. Yeah, there it is. Look how beautiful it is. Oh, salmon so many different ways. It's so good for you. Let's see what else we have. How to ripen an avocado. I showed you that last. That's good. Good. You love the salmon recipe, the Swiss chard. Good. Very good. Ah, the vegan pudding. Yes, yes. Vegan. It is vegan. Love chocolate and avocado together. Oh, I even make these chocolate avocado brownies. Oh, to die for. They are so good. So I do have that free gift for you. Caitlin, go ahead and put that in the chat again. It's tinamcdermott.com/JG. Stands for the Joyful Gut. And that's where you can download my free ebook and join my tribe on Facebook. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. From the top to the bottom to the middle, my entire heart. Thank you so much for being here, and namaste. Until next time, bye for now. Bye for now, everyone. Thank you. Bye for now.